Good evening, Hope Dealers, and welcome. Happy December. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and it's not often that we really do get to start the month together on the first of the month. And what a great month to come together. And I'm not going to go through all the details of all the goodies. You saw the posts online. There's more than that. If you see some other little incentives, like the blanket and all that, I'll let y'all read that. But to have Arbonne extend the free preferred client and consultant signups through December, floored that this is the third month in a row. So it's really making a difference, a huge difference. So let's run with it one more month. And I will tell you that in not just my 15-year history with Arbonne, but in the whole 42 years of the company, they have never offered 2 incentive trips in the same year. So there's never been a month that we're in both trips. So this is brand new, so smart of Arbonne, and so exciting that everyone can continue to work to finish earning this trip. And at the same time, all that work counting twice towards earning another one. I am thrilled. And if you are on this call and you've never earned an incentive trip, and your mind is telling you something untrue, like, I can never earn one of those, I want you to hear tonight from 2 awesome Hope Dealers who have, one has earned this incentive trip, and the other is a breath away from earning this. Fran has earned it, and Rihanna is going to finish probably within the next couple of weeks because she is like knocking at the door to the finish line. It's like it may as well be done. And so we're going to get to, and there's more of you that I know that are still in the working to this and can do it. But I want you to hear their stories and what changed for them, because this is their first one. Rihanna is an area manager direct to Amber Lillystrom. Rihanna lives up in Massachusetts, and yet we can't imagine Hope Dealers without her. She has made sure we know her because she gets on that plane and flies to every global trading conference and spends the better part of a week with us. Not only that, gets on a plane and flies somewhere into Virginia and then gets in a rental car and drives somewhere else, wherever we've found to have our district retreats. And you get down here all the time when something like that is happening. You've never missed. And I just so appreciate that. If I could name what you're going to share tonight, I would say, listen in Rihanna's story for the power of a decision. And then right after Rihanna shares, without me coming back in, Fran Babishak is going to share next. Fran is an area manager direct to me. And as Rihanna is also, Fran is a dear friend of mine and shows up on at everything, just like Rihanna does, and is on every call and has worked her business with such consistency, really treating it like a business, but also always making it about the other person. And those last couple of years, Fran, I know we've all loved the snippets of your personal growth journey that you've shared with us. And I want everyone to hear what changed when you chose to quit listening to those limiting beliefs and really writing a new story. So I'm going to stop talking. Rihanna, I want you to jump right on in.
Thank you, Dina. I hope everyone can hear me. My Wi-Fi is a little unstable. And I do think too, Dina, that like having you there all the time, knowing that like Mama Bird's looking up over after me, I just love it so much. It's so Dina texted me at the beginning of November, but I'm going to take it back a little bit till June, and I'm only going to keep this really brief. I definitely just decided that this was something that was possible and that it was so doable. The way Tyler White had changed our AIT trips, I've registered for every single one, and I've come close, but I've never gotten it. And I just thought, oh, wow, this is possible. So when you have that vision and then that belief, it just becomes like a decided heart. And I got really confident in myself. And I think that is due to something else. But I think the confidence has come from a lot of personal growth, and I'll just, a lot of work on myself. And so then I enrolled the family. Like I was just like, I'm telling the family at dinner, and not telling that the kids were going to go, but just saying, there's a possibility for my birthday and Dad's birthday, we could be in Mexico. I'm just going to work really hard this month, and I'm just going to do it. And so kind of like the red thread that was carrying me through was like, keep it simple, duplicate and just do the next right thing. So I've never done this before, you guys. I kept a notebook and I don't want it on my phone because I'm just sick of looking at my phone. I just kept a notebook of every single person. It was like, Marissa, she's got COVID. Send her a message. Don't talk about the business. Kelly, she's having a hard time. I just kept going on this list. And I carried this notebook is falling apart. I carried it around with me wherever I went. So in between my other job, I would just go back to the list. Where am I at with that person? Where am I at with that person? We have so many reach out methods. It does get a little, it's amazing, I think, right now what we have to offer in the website and the recommended cart link. And so I just had a plan. And what Rachel Canfield was saying to us too, you have a plan, you just work the plan. And that's what I did. So I didn't earn it yet, but I am going to earn the trip eventually, and probably in the next 2 weeks, because I noticed all those seeds I planted, I was getting orders today. So it's just, it just is like that. And I think also when you're working this business and you're in that momentum, it's so easy just to keep going. When you stop and take like a big break, it's so hard to like, wait, what are we doing? So, and I find like, I just need to keep going in this way of just keeping my list running, keeping organized, and just treating it like a business. And I've always treated it like a business, and it's always been a part-time, but hopefully it'll become full-time soon enough.
Brianna, I love that. Can you share what you texted me about what Raya said this morning?
Oh, I know, that was so cute. She said, "Thank you, Mom, for working so hard." And I said, "Oh, Raya, you're so welcome." She's like, so when do we get to go? She really was like sincere about it. She's like, "Thank you," because we don't get to travel all that much, but we do try to take them out on trips. And I thought to Aldo too, I'm like, why are we taking them? And then Connolly's like, I'm taking my boys. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can see it now. The Stewards and the Peasies meeting at the pool, and Ryan, they're having so much fun with those boys. They're the exact same ages too. So anyway, it all just got very happy and exciting. And I'm very grateful for all your support, all those texts, and just like a cheer team. I think you need a cheer team when you have a goal like that,
I love that. And I love, just like Rachel put in there, that your family gets, this is a family business. They're all part of it. So
I get it now. Yeah. I think this is going to be a big, like, smack on the head.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, Fran.
Okay, well, I'm so proud of Rihanna. I'm so excited that she's super close, because both of us celebrate our birthday the week of this trip. And I want to be with my birthday twin girl over there dancing like we did at the white party. So I'm so excited about you getting so close. And I did share the story when I earned the trip earlier, or I can't remember when so I apologize for those of you who've heard before, but I really was, doubting again, should I sign up again? I never earned the trip. Why should I put my money out? But then in the back of my head, it was like, everybody, it's an even playing field for everyone, no matter if you're a consultant or a national vice president. So why not me this year? And I did invest in myself in a little extra training with Bob Heilig, and really focused on love, serve, grow instead of sell. And I think I was getting maybe a little too focused on hitting numbers and selling. And I truly love Amber Fry's wellness profile that she shared with us, because when I put that out there as the first thing we talk about, either on the beginning of a Facebook party, or if I'm at a table, I have little mini versions, and it's the other side of the entry form for winning a prize. I say, hey, would you like to, win this? Fill out this wellness profile and enter to win. And so then I have all this information on helping them, and it's all about helping. That's all it is. And back in, I guess it was maybe June or July, maybe May, I talked to one of the trainers on the Bob Heilig program about, this red light story of this trip. And it boiled down to, I just guess I have to ask more people. And she stopped me right there. And she said, no, you got to change your mindset. You get to help more people. And I was like, yeah, when did that switch in my head? I used to feel like that. And somewhere along the way, it got lost, that message. So, I started doing that training, I think in April, and I want to piggyback on Rihanna's point about being consistent, because it's so hard to restart your business over and over and over. If you're consistent, you will see the momentum. And I'll just share with you my numbers as far as points for the trip. So in July, when it started, I had 75 points. And I, at the end of that month, thought, oh, here we go again, not going to earn this trip. But I had started back in May with this love, serve, grow mentality, and everything is 2 months out. And so the next month, August, was 175. So July was 75, August was 175, September was 200, October was 325, and November was crazy. It was double, but it 675, but if half of that is still more than 325. So every month got bigger because it just builds. And I was just more and more consistent. And I feel like, the 3 little tips I want to share is just remember, you're helping people. This is not a chore, and we get to do this. And by getting to do this, I get to stay home. I get to take care of my dad. I get to make my own plans every day. I don't report to a boss. You got to remind yourself all the beauties of this business. And start now, and don't get discouraged with that first month. Like I said, the first month is a little rough, but you got to build on the momentum, and just be consistent. You got this. You can totally do this next trip. And how amazing is it that there's 2 trips going that we're qualifying on? And I can't even believe this, but I never, ever, ever thought when I signed up for this trip that I would earn the $1,000, and I'm 50 points away from the $1,000. I'm just like blown away by this whole thing. So I got the airline tickets now too. I'm so happy. And I'll pass it back to Dina. Thank you so much.
Oh my goodness, Fran, thank you. And thank you, Rihanna, both of you, for sharing and both being possibilitarians, my favorite word of the year that John Maxwell gave. I did not make that word up, but it's such a good word. And you truly believed it was possible, decide it, and do it. So every one of you all, here we are, December 1st, first day of the new trip earning period. So it is wide open, and just take encouragement from these 2. And I'm going to share the screen, and Beth Hooper is going to read our recognition. But before I do that, I just want to ask anyone, if this is your first call, if you would wave at me. If this is the first time you've been on a Nations Call, wave. And I'm going to ask you to just unmute yourself for just a second. Say your name, say where you live, and who is your sponsor. Do we have new besides Carrie? You're on the call new. Why don't you do that? I don't know that anyone else is brand new. All right, Carrie.
I'm Carrie. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. Allison is my sponsor. We go back to middle school long time ago. So she's been bugging me for a while to hop on. So I did it last night.
Well, that is so great. Welcome. And most of us, I definitely was bugged to pieces before I would listen to the person who wanted to share this with me. And I'm forever grateful to her for her persistence. And you're in great hands with Allison.
I've been wanting to for a while. It just wasn't the right time yet. So I'm glad that I did, though.
Great. I'm glad you're here. Okay. I don't see any other news. So I'm going to share the screen, and Beth is going to take us from there. All right.
Fabulous. Congratulations to all these amazing people who are leading us and setting an example. Let's start with Suzanne Catucci in Maryland. These are in qualification for district manager. Judy McHugh, Virginia. Jordan Bovell, Maryland. Olga Vofik, Virginia. She helped me practice her name before. Sarah Tiamson, Virginia. Stephanie Ching, Virginia. Rebecca Wooten, Virginia. Bridget Garudi, Florida. Teresa Pearson, Tennessee. Cynthia Raber, Virginia. Julia Jane McNulty, Virginia. Really happy to see that name. Jalen Winia, New Mexico. Way to go, Maggie. Carly Wolfuck, Virginia, continued with district manager qualifications. Carly Wolfuck, Virginia. Amanda Garcia, California. Danielle Hanna, South Carolina. Mary Alice Vaughn, Virginia. Brooke Verbeek, Virginia. Jasmeet Singh, Canada. Gabrielle Keffer, Virginia. Jocelyn McCallum, North Carolina. Liza Watonis, New Hampshire.
Awesome. Congrats, all of you.
Now, congratulations for qualification for area manager. Anna Nice, Virginia. Love that girl. Becca Carr, another girl I love. Sponsored by Anna Nice. So we understand why that qualification's taken place, right? Congratulations for those qualifications for area manager.
And all of a sudden my screen will not move there. Well, wait, is that the next one? Okay. It wasn't moving. All right, go.
Awesome. Achiever Award earners. Consultants for $100, Olga Vovic. District Manager, $200, Amber Fry. Dina Kretzer, our fearless leader. Connolly Stewart, our other fearless leader. Rihanna Peasy, our motivational speaker for the evening. And Janet Benson, our friend in Amelia. I'll have to text her and congratulate her. Area Manager, $400, Amber Fry. And again, our fearless leader, Dina Kretzer.
This is not rolling. Okay. There we go.
Okay, there was supposed to be confetti. I was not in charge of confetti. Tops and changing lives and enrolling. Personal enrolling, all with 5+ at $150 each. Amber Fry, 22. Amber, you need to write a book. Okay, Rihanna Peasy, 10. Rock it out, Rihanna. Dina Kretzer, Connolly Stewart, and Janet Benson all get the fizzy 10.
Well, Amber and Rihanna. The rest of us had 5 or more.
Oh, understand.
Stars.
The asterisk was important. Sorry about that. Yeah.
That's okay.
So tops and changing lives. I really love the title of that slide. Top district enrolling, Amber Fry, Rihanna Peasy, Dina Kretzer. Top area enrolling, Amber Fry, Dina Kretzer, Rihanna Peasy. Tops in sales and perfect brick. Top personal sales, Amber Fry, Dina Kretzer, and Fran Babishak. Ooh. Perfect brick, Amber Fry, Dina Kretzer, Connolly Stewart, Rihanna Peasy, and Janet Benson. That's $2,500 from you, plus personally enrolled PCs and new personally enrolled ICs.
And that is it. Thank you so much, Beth. I appreciate your reading those. And congrats to all of you. I'm just awesome, awesome month. And tonight, I just want to say a couple of words before you get to hear from Executive Regional Vice President Rachel Camfield. And I just want to say, I know you hear me say this all the time about the give it enough time, but I kept thinking of that today. It's one of the 3 foundational principles for success from Tom Barrett is consistent effort, duplication, and give it enough time. And the best advice I can give to all of you, whether you're brand new or whether you've been in here a year, 2 years, 5 years, give it enough time. Remove the exit door. That's the answer to the question, how much time? Remove the exit door, because the only way to fail is to quit. But while giving it enough time, just a little sidebar here, that time has to be spent doing the right things. And it can be so overwhelming to know what the right things are. It's so simple. Get the products and our opportunity in front of people. Get the products and the opportunity in front of people again and again. But to do those right things with confidence and with passion and conviction, we have to keep growing in our knowledge, not only of the products, but in this awesome business opportunity that we have to offer. We have to understand and know what a gift it is to offer someone the opportunity to build a business in the network marketing business model. And also not only just knowing that, but being able to grow personally so that we get rid of those red light stories, replace them with the green light stories. That takes work, and reading books that will help us grow personally. So if I were to ask you right now, what are you reading every day? What are you putting into your mind? What are you doing to intentionally, feed your mind? What would you say? And on that personal growth note, I thought, if you use our daily method for success, the very first one says 20 minutes of personal development, reading or audio, and there's a box to check. And I have to tell you, I have been guilty as well at times of going, I read my 20 minutes, check the box. This is not about reading 20 minutes and checking the box. It's not about reading a certain number of books in a month or a year. It's reading and reflecting, maybe journaling, maybe writing down applications and changes. Fran could have read all of that about red light, green light stories and said, yeah, but she stopped and went, whoa, what is my red light story? And what's the story that I want to write? And what do I need to change to get from here to there? So it's more, when you see that on your page, if you're using this, I still love this, more than just a checkbox over there. And just keep looking for those ways to apply it so that that inspiration and truth comes, goes from here and goes out there where it's put into practice. And that just gives me a perfect segue to Rachel, because Rachel is absolutely someone who does that. And Rachel, the way you reflect and the way you make things apply to your own personal life, your business life, continues to inspire me. Rachel and I've worked closely together for almost 6 years, isn't it? January is going to be 6 years since you walked into our meeting. I miss our meeting times. And you just continue to inspire me with your creativity, with your ability to communicate, connect with others. And Rachel went, Deanna Herron, who's our direct upline and one of the top 10 income earners in the company, held a VP retreat in Florida earlier this month. And Rachel asked if she could share tonight. Of course, I said yes, from her experience there. Although that's a big job to try to share 10 minutes of what was a 4-day, very personal and life-changing experience. But we so appreciate that you're willing to make a dent in that. And we are all ears and so grateful to hear from you.
Thanks, Dina. Hi, everybody. Good evening. Happy December. Happy new month. Thank you for letting me have the opportunity to share. And the reason why I wanted to specifically share for those of us who are plugging in and who are catching the replay is because in all of almost 6 years of being a part of this company, alongside many other things that I do and being a part of a lot of live event spaces and loving the way you can walk into a room with a group of people and what happens in that room will never, ever happen again. You never know who you're going to connect with. You never know what, it's probably going to be a side conversation that might be the thing that sticks with you. But I just think it's so life-changing to show up and walk through a doorway like that. And so it was definitely worth it for me to make it possible to be there. And, just to hopefully paint a picture of something that I got to see for all of you. It's so important, I think, for those of us, especially who are visual and who have to really see it. I think it's really important to hear the leadership that we're following and what's happening a little bit beyond what we currently can see. So if it's okay with you, I'm just going to share from my heart. I really don't have anything super duper prepared for tonight. One of the things that surprised me the most about this retreat was that we really didn't talk about Arbonne, and I didn't expect that. And so tonight, or whenever you're catching this, I want you to really stop yourself from thinking you need to add more things to your to-do list to be successful at this. And that might go against the grain of what you think this business is. But so often I feel like a lot of people just continue to bog themselves down and berate themselves, whether it's with comparison or feeling like they're falling short and doing it to themselves. And while we all have moments of being the leader and earning the trips and really hitting those highlights, you guys, that is not usually the course of someone's entire business. Yet for some reason, I know myself included, I can take that example of somebody really hitting an amazing note in their business that's like to be celebrated, and I can make myself feel bad about that. And so when we think about unbecoming in this business, that's not typically a conversation that's being had. And this is not to downplay any single person's success. This is simply to say, don't, like Dina was saying, like, we put this exit door there sometimes because it actually hurts so much to feel like we're so far from what we're supposed to be doing or who we're supposed to be in this business. And, I think that is one of the most tragic things for me. And I've actually been like grappling with it myself of like, how do I work through some of these things that do come up and that are really hard? And a lot of people, like, they just, it's your feet are going to be to the fire with this. This is a business. And another reminder here, we're all independent business owners here. Like, you are leading your business. Yes, we work together as a team, but you're the one that gets to plug in. You're the one that gets to choose how you run this. You're the one that gets to decide what you're motivated by. You're the one that sets your own goals. That's why we said yes to this at the beginning. And sometimes all of the just side things and different incentives and just, we're so overstimulated, you guys, not just in Arbonne, but just social media, our phones, the world, our email inboxes. It is a lot. And it just, we pile on, we pile on, and we pile on, and we pile on. And then that wedge starts forming, that thickness starts happening. And we're really far away from why we originally said yes to this. We're really far away from even our own gifts and what we know we are here to uniquely bring. And then it's just an easy yes to say no to this. And so I just want to breathe life into you if that's where you are, or if that's where someone on your team is. The most loving thing we can do in this business is simply to just accept people for who they are and where they are. Every single person, I think, who's an independent consultant is probably the hardest on themselves. They don't need someone else or other outside voices coming in and like telling them and reminding them what they're not doing. Everyone pretty much has their own number with this. So the most loving thing, about our community here is to celebrate when people are like succeeding and not use that as a reason to put ourselves down. I know it's easier said than done. The other thing that I want to hint at here is that if you're in this business and you don't see the example of what you want, that's because you're supposed to be the example. And I know that's tough because this is all about duplication and follow the leader. And some people want to think this is a copy and paste business, but I'm going to tell you it's not. And we're only getting further and further away from that version of people succeeding in that way. Owning your version is the most powerful thing you can do here. If you feel far away from that, well, hey, a great place to start is falling back in love or finding a new way or creating a new relationship that you have with this so that it's yours. Please don't ever forget that this is yours. We all have permission to make mistakes here. And Deanna made that so clear. And I think that's one of the most powerful things we can do for ourselves and for our teams and for people that we're talking to this about. This vision of perfection is not usually really helpful. And we need to know that we're going to learn and we're going to fall and we're going to fail. I have a couple of quotes I pulled out of my notes that I'll read as we close out right here. Obviously, like, the same things are sometimes repeated in this business, and sometimes we need to hear them because we're coming from a different place or a different experience. So if I say something and you've heard it before, maybe you just need to hear it again. And that's really what lands with me. I just think, wow, if I keep hearing this, maybe I really need to hear it. And I know I keep changing and growing. And so I receive sometimes even the same sentences differently at different times. Obviously, we know growth mindset is a choice, right? But really to ask yourself what choice you're making within that realm. Like, if we're choosing to grow, then we're still here, right? And with the consistency, the duplication, and giving it enough time, if we're not leaning into really like saying the growth mindset, that means we're going to label ourselves as a failure if we're not succeeding to the level that we think that we should be, or within the time constraints or what we've put into this, et cetera, et cetera. Everyone can change and grow through application and experience. And that's really what this business is. This business is application and experience, learning and growing through some of these very like repetitive motions that we're doing, but yet we're growing through it at all times. It's like this really safe container. And I see a lot of beauty in that. A learner is someone, obviously, who says yes to the growth mindset. A non-learner is someone who is fixed. And when we're working with our teams, somebody might say that they have a growth mindset, but if they're fixed, then you're really not going to be able to help them. They have to be open to receive. The good news is that these are all skills that are learnable by anybody. But I will say, this business takes like a humble heart. And that's something that I've had to work through and work on. So, you know, it's a level playing field, yes, but coming down to the level is something that we all have to decide to do, and that we all have to just see like there's value in doing that. Hard refining times. I think everyone can relate. For the last couple of years, there have been a lot of different hard refining times. But one of the things that somebody who really inspires me said, her name is Alyssa Lovett. I love her. I love her. I love her. She said this: businesses cycle, but missions don't. And in some of my pit moments, I've really had to think about, okay, what is my mission here? And maybe I need to revisit that, because maybe I'm just in a part of the cycle that's going to happen, and that's normal. Okay, need to accept that. But really, what's the mission? That kind of frees you up a little bit. Falling versus failing are two different things. And we typically attach them to the same thing, telling ourselves that when we are failing, we're falling. But falling is a part of the cycle. If we're thinking of a circle, like the arrow absolutely goes down before it goes back up, right? And so falling, when we embrace it, it's a part of the process, and we wipe the mud off our face, and we recommit if we need to, or we have a different conversation with ourselves, or we realize like, hey, like I have some different priorities here, and that's okay. You know, it's a different conversation than failing. All right. The last thing I will say is that this was from Danielle Pearson, who is also an MVP that I just really admire. And I think she's very, very wise. She said, not a single one of us can go back and write a new beginning. And the longer you're in this, sometimes I think it can be that much more challenging to feel like shoulda, woulda, coulda, or if only I had known, and compare different things, different situations, even in our own minds. Not a single one of us can go back and write a new beginning, but we can each choose to write a new story, which will shape and construct a new ending. And for all of us, whether we're here on day one or here on day like 6 years later or day 15 years later, we have control and power of the ending. And that is the place where the power comes from. Power doesn't come from going back and making things perfect from day one. Leadership, this was Victoria McHugh, who I also really admire and respect. Leadership means results. No. That's the definition of success, right? The biggest part of leadership is staying. And so when we find ourselves maybe in a dip or a pit, or something is not looking the way we wished we wanted it to, really understanding like, okay, like maybe that is, I'm attaching like success to that, but I can be proud of the leader that I am regardless, because I'm showing up. So I will leave us with that. Thank you so much for letting me share. And the hope I would give to you guys is that the last couple years, and Carrie, you're coming in at a very exciting time, because the winds of change have happened in the world. This is not just an Arbonne thing, but the leadership that we're following is truly inspiring. It is truly inspired. It is someone who is taking risks. It is someone who is totally reading the room for what's happening with social media and what's happening with just evolving with this business model. But it's somebody who's not here to layer on more layers and give you a longer to-do list and teach and train you by beating you over the head with things. Like, this is someone who is here to truly help you become the most powerful version of yourself by releasing you from the things that are holding you back that maybe you don't even know. And that doesn't just touch your Arbonne business, that actually touches your whole life. It was an honor and a gift to be in that room. And I hope that something I shared tonight could speak to you for where you currently are and the ending that you are wanting to write for yourself.
It does. Thank you.
Wow, Rachel, thank you so very much. I would love for you to just, read page after page of your notes. That was very meaningful. You could tell if you can go back and read all your comments. But thank you. I really appreciate that. And thank you, Rihanna and Fran, again, and for all of you being on live and for all of you watching the recording. Let's go out there and see whose lives we can change this month. Love, serve, and grow, not sell, sell, sell. I loved that, Fran, for sharing that. So thank you all. I love you so much. Good night.